Hello, everyone. My name is Stanley St. Rose, and today we're going to be talking about the trial of Martha Carrier. Now, before I go into summary analysis of this work, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and/or comment so that the channel can continue to grow. So, the trial of Martha Carrier is a very interesting trial. It's this woman put on trial for, bewitching people. She was indicted because she was bewitching people. That's what the witnesses said. Even her own children testified against her. Her own children accused her of turning them into witches, of forcing them to go into witchcraft and to practicing things from the underworld. Um, so many people. Benjamin Abbott is another person that accused Martha Carey in this trial. When she was brought, they tied Martha Carey up. They didn't want her to raise a hand or to point a finger at anybody, to clap hands at anybody, because those are all accounts of her cursing people or doing bad things to people. There's several testimonies of people saying, Martha Carrier cursed them, gave them illnesses and diseases. When their animals died in an unusual way or disappeared, they blame Martha Carrier because days before that something bad happened. They had a conversation with her or a dispute with her. She would clap her hands. She would do all types of things, and people would consider this being a way where she would curse them or send devils to attack them. Some people accuse her of pricking, biting, twisting, pinching, all these types of witchcraft like things that they accuse Martha Carrier of. And this is pretty much how the Salem witchcraft trials go. You pretty much had a whole town, a whole group of people just coming out of the woodwork to accuse this woman of witchcraft. Now, of course, she pled, not guilty. But during the Salem witch trials, this is a community of Christians who believe in the spiritual world. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people don't see it that way. A lot of people don't believe in the spiritual world. But when we look at the Puritans, they believed in the spiritual world. They believe in God. For me, I do believe in God. I do believe that God exists. So I can understand the perspective that these people were coming from a personal perspective. And what I can tell you is that if you believe that angels exist, that demons exist, that there is a hell and that there is a heaven, you are going to look at people who are witches different. These people believe that Martha Carey could clap her hands and kill one of them, or torment one of them. Benjamin Abbott, he believed that Martha Carey cursed him, and that's why he was growing sores. And when the doctor would like prick one of these sores, the pus would come out, and he was in pain for a very long time. And only when after Martha Carrier was arrested and indicted, that's when he finally got some relief. So, I mean, you could say that's all coincidence, but the people didn't see it all as coincidence. So, the trial of Martha Carrier is something that we definitely have to take a look at and really truly have to understand. If when you're looking at it from the Puritans' perspective, from the people, of Salem, and you're looking at the people there, you're looking at their perspective. They don't see this as just a normal old lady or a normal woman. They see her as a monster. They see her as the monster in the community. No matter how much she maintains her innocence and she fights for her innocence, the other people do not see her as being innocent, and they want to protect they want to protect their children. And Martha Carrier, even her own children are against her. They're saying that she brought them into witchcraft. And there's other people that come up and that say that Martha Carrier tried to enlist them to practice witchcraft. And there's some people that even say that she brought them to a coven or a meeting of witches. And so the evidence or the testimonies are quite damning. And when you have so many people testifying, saying that they saw Martha Carey do this, they saw her shadow, they saw her clapping, they saw her making threats, all these things compile against her, and none of it looked good. And ultimately, she does die. She's hung, and other witches like her are hung. And really, yes, there's no physical evidence, but to a group of people that believe in the spiritual world, to a group of people that believe in other things that are unexplainable can happen. They saw it in the form of curses. They saw it in the form of witchcraft. And witchcraft, from a biblical, when you look into the Bible from a biblical perspective, witchcraft is a major, major sin. It's abomination. And so we can understand the reaction of these people, and truly they were truly terrified of Martha Carrier and of her witches. They did not feel comfortable around them. They did not want them to stay in their community. And the coincidences, that's one thing. I know most people, when you think about Martha Carrier and you think about the Salem witch trials, the first thing you're going to say is that, well, all these people were crazy for killing all these innocent people. But there's one thing that sticks out like a sore thumb within the Salem witch trials is a lot of people bring about coincidences. There's just so many coincidences that take place in these trials of maybe these women saying something or challenging or confronting somebody, and then days later the person develops a disease or dies, or something bad happens to them after they confront one of these witches or one of these women. So it does leave a lot to think about. So that's really what ultimately happens within the trial of this woman here. Martha Carrier, she's accused, her children accuse her, her community accuse her, a lot of people come against her, and she's executed. But we do have to keep in mind the coincidences and also the Puritan background. Now, the other thing that we have to think about here within the trial of Martha Carrier, in terms of deeper meaning, in terms of an analysis here, you have to think about the type of land that they are. You have these Puritans living in a time where, it's survival. You have Indians running around. You have Indians worshiping other gods. You have other people. You're living in a wood-like time where there's more wilderness than cities. And these people, what they saw was, maybe if somebody's acting strange, or they see her in weird ways or in weird shadows or in weird places. Two and two are going to start to click together, and people are going to think about their safety and their lives. And so the trial of Martha Carrier, I guess you can say there's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of, people blaming her and saying that all these bad things are happening because of her. But we can't just come to one conclusion, because we have to put in all the factors. If you believe in the spiritual world, maybe you see this differently. If you believe in God, you believe in heaven and hell. Maybe you believe in witches, and if from my perspective, I do believe that there's a spiritual world and that there are people that can tap into that spiritual world. So maybe you believe that there were witches in the Salem witch trials, and maybe you believe that the people were justified for killing the witches. Or maybe you don't believe it and you see it as, all the people are crazy for killing Martha Carrier and the other people that were accused of bewitching individuals. That's another way of interpreting it. Maybe you think that, these people were using demons and things like that. So there's different ways to look at the trial of Martha Carrier to see what happened. We can't just look at it as just people were crazy back then and they killed a bunch of people for nothing. We have to put in their religious perspective, their background, the setting of what was happening. Savages, or they saw the natives as savages. The Native American Indians as savages. They saw them as that, and also, well, just how they viewed the world. They didn't view the world as just a normal physical plane. They saw it as the physical mixing with the spiritual. And so when things happen that are unexplainable, that make no physical or scientific sense or reasonable sense, you have to wonder about the spiritual world. And Martha Carrier, what I can say is that there's so many coincidences and so many incidents that happened around her and her name and the actions that she did. Some people just started thinking that maybe she had some type of link with the underworld or even the devil, because ultimately they all believed that she had made a contract with the devil, that if she did what she did, that she would become the queen of hell. So that was the ultimate belief that the people shared. So that's all worth to take in and to analyze and to think about what's going on in the trial of Martha Carrier. So that's all I have to say about that. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment. and I'll see you guys in the next video.